thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Bob, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. So, the Alan Moore stuff wasn't doing very well, even though I thought Miracle Man would get some play, but nope, nobody cared about Miracle Man. So I'm dropping Miracle Man and going to do a story I wanted to do anyway. So Origin, we're gonna do Origins 1 through 6, and then Origin 2, 1 through 6. So there's a couple of things that I really like and a couple things I don't like about this era. Now, I'm all for modern storytelling. First of all, let's compliment the cover. Joe Quesada is the penciler of this cover, but Richard Isanov is undoubtedly probably the greatest colorist of all time. This dude is really, really, really good at his stuff. You can see here it creates a canvas. He paints digitally, but inserts a canvas here in the in the background there. Great cover. Here. So, parts 1 of 6 and The Hill. Paul Jenkins. I think it's Adam. No, Andy. Adam does the second one, and Richard Isanov does the coloring. So, I'll tell you what I like. I like that they let art sort of breathe, but I'll get to those parts. So we start here. We don't get any dialogue of what's going on. We don't know anything of where we are. So we get this nice scenery here. We see these storm clouds coming through. Then we see a snowstorm here. And we get a first-person narration here. That they're building is the Howlett Estate. They say it was built on a foundation of tears. Again, I love the coloring. It almost looks like it's watercolor. Love the canvas being used, the canvas background. And so, a right terrible tragedy it was. Just after the place was built, the elder boy took ill all of a sudden. They buried him here in the grounds. That was such a desperate, sad day for everyone. And so this guy here is coming through town here on a horseback. Again, we don't know where we are. We don't know what's going on. But we can tell that we are in olden times, probably around in the 1800s of some time. And so this girl says, "Oh, that must have been so awful, Mr. Kenneth." And he says, "It was at that, young Rose. Course, we don't talk about it much up on the hill. Poor Mrs. Howlett was sent away to the madhouse. So they say. After she came back, things were never the same." And so they continue here. You can see the big house here. And is it true about the old man? Is he really as bad as they say down in the village? And Mr. Kenneth says, "You'll never hear me say this, mind. But if you ask me, the old man's one to be avoided. He ain't like his son. Self-made millionaire, made a fortune in copper ore, but a miserable blighter when it comes to anyone of our station." So, young Master Johns is a good man, but he and his father don't abide each other. There's a lot of sadness up here. That's how it's been ever since the tragedy. If you ask me, girl, this bloody place is bad luck. So we see here someone that looks a lot like Wolverine. So could this be Wolverine? And so we continue here. So, what brings you up from the village, young Rose? And she says, my parents, sir, it was the influenza what took 'em both. I ain't got nobody no more. So, you can see here that there's somebody down here, and the horse and buggy are heading that way. Mrs. Hopkins knew my auntie down in the village. She thought as how I'd be a good companion for young Master James. I mean, what with the mistress taken ill and him being the only child and all. So, I do enjoy Kubert doing different, like bird's eye view, worm's eye view, straight up. I mean, so he visually, he's following that. Oh my gosh, panels that always work that I think Wallywood had come up with just how do we keep the reader entertained with different looks so as to not bore the reader or anything like that. So the guy goes, tell me, how old are you, Rose? 12, Mr. Kenneth, she says. And so Mr. Kenneth here, you can see a little bit of a serious stare here. If you want to be 13, you'll keep yourself to yourself and do exactly as you're told. She kind of looks like, oh my goodness. Again, I love the coloring. Richard Isanov is a Photoshop master for creating these beautiful what Alex Ross is with is it gouache, whatever. It looks like watercolor, but it isn't watercolor. This guy does with digital. It's just freaking amazing. And so Mr. Kenneth is leaving, and this boy here says, "You're pretty," and well, ain't you charming one? And what would your name name be? And he says, I like your hair. Why, thank you. Sir, do you live up here in the house? And then he throws all this dust at her and laughs, ha ha ha. And she coughs here as he continues to laugh as he runs away. Oh, you little. And then she says, that's Logan's boy. He's a bad apple, that one. And make no mistake, says this lady here. So we got Logan. So who's this kid? Is this Wolverine? So we're gonna keep going. It's kind of difficult since this thing is from 2001 and it's 23 years old, but still, maybe somebody hasn't seen it. So the girl kind of gets on her knees or bows. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hopkins. I'd better get my things. And she says here, both of them are him and that no good father. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to. Is always scowling at everyone and mistreating the animals. I do know, why Master John keeps him on. So trying to keep making accent here. And so continue again now pulling all the way out so you can see kind of the estate here. And mark my words, girl, they're a dirty bunch of scoundrels. Them Logans. The boy just as much as the father. Mr. Logan's the groundskeeper up here. You don't go within 50 yards of that man, understand? Now, then, let's take a look at you. You'll be meeting Master John in a few minutes. And then she's like, chich. Or, it's more like that sound that you make. Look at the state of you. You look like you were dragged through a hedge backwards as she's cleaning her up here. Andy Kubert penciled this. You can see that this is not done in ink. This was digitally colored on top of his pencils. This is a big opportunity for a young girl, Rose, especially seeing as how you can read and write and all. I done you a great favor to get you away from the bottom of the hill, child. So don't you mess this up. Love the ways adults would treat children back then. So, and so again, look at this. We get this whole, a lot of wide panels. This is the era of the authority. And these quote unquote widescreen panels, so very movie like. They kind of got away from doing regular panels for a while. Everybody wanted to do these wide panels here. So, and so we continue here. This guy here says, I'm telling you, John, you should have listened to me instead of those blame bankers of yours. I didn't hand you half of my money so you could squander it. And John says, I'm not you, Father. I have a different way of doing things. Different. Bah! Like, I think that should have been bah. So, well, now, what have we here? A new face, I see. And so, this is young Rose from the village, sir. You inquired about her being young Master James' new companion. So you're Rose, are you? Tell me, Rose, what do you think of my home? Do you like it? Speak up, child. And she's like, it's very big. And John sort of laughs. Well put, Rose, but don't worry. You'll get used to it soon enough. And so he looks aside. Mrs. Hopkins will show you to your room upstairs. I think my son James is going to like meeting you very much. So, and so here we see, I would imagine this is James because of the way he's dressed. And he's got a hoop. And it goes toward Logan's boy. We don't have his name. He says, can I have my hoop back, please? And he says, here, and he tosses it over there. And John's boy is like, woohoo, woohoo. And he sort of just kind of looks at him. So, love Andy Kubert's when he first got to Marvel, they made him do a Jim Lee style. But once he got away from the Jim Lee style, I think both Kubert guys really hit their stride. So now she's in her room, I believe. Every day that passes up here on the hill, dear diary, I fear the house gets bigger and bigger. So many rooms. I'm not sure if I'll ever find my way around it. Poor James is so frail and sickly. His allergies keep him inside most of the day, although we do manage time in the garden at sunset. But he's a good boy nonetheless, an attentive child, I think. So you can see her reading to him. Master John seems awfully nice, but so busy attending to matters of the estate. He acts very kindly toward me. I never see Mistress Elizabeth, no one does, except Mrs. Hopkins, our housekeeper. It's very sad. Jane misses his mother terribly. As for the old man, I think he's a cruel old buzzard, always griping and complaining. He visits from the east every week. I'm sure Master John would sooner he stayed in the city. And so, here we go, continuing here. There's one other child who comes by the house to work, the Logan boy. I'm sure I don't even know if he has a first name. Everyone calls him Dog. He's a gaggle of scrapes and bruises, that one. So, I'm certain the boy secretly admires me. I catch him peeking up towards my window often. But of course, he does his level best to pretend it's an accident. His father, Mr. Logan, drinks at all hours of the day and curses at everyone he sees. I fancy he beats his son as often as look at him. So you can see Logan is a drinker. So that boy's going to cause me trouble. I'm sure of it. Now, notice, so again, you see the reflection here. Notice how they made her look like a young Jean Grey. that was not an accident. They did this to sort of put the attraction that he has toward Jean Grey at another time here. Since there are only 3 children up here at the house, I think it's only natural we should all be friends, dear diary, don't you? And what great friends we have become. James is very fond of Dog. I'm certain it's doing some good to be around a boy his age, despite his allergies. And so you can see the kids are really having fun here. Poor thing, James can't be too long away from the shade, and the water makes his skin all blotched like a snapping turtle. I sometimes wonder if he wants to swim with Dog and me, but he seems content to paddle on the shore. So you can see the kids are really having a good time. Here they are making shapes with the clouds. I must confess, dear diary, we've been having a wonderful summer. We're all best friends now, I think. Yet some small measure of sadness remains about us, like a cloud. So, oh, this is beautifully done. Look at that. At the end of the day, James and I return to that sparkling, wonderful house on the hill. Now, this is the thing. They make a lot of splash pages. They extended this story to be 6 issues. And there's a lot of splash pages and double page spreads that I think are unnecessary. And I don't know. When you look, and this is me getting on my. And so she continues here. Poor Dog must always go back to his life down below. You see his reflection on the water here. My goodness, Richard Isanov. Again, look at this. Just what a palette. Absolutely awesome. So, all right. So, some time has passed. Again, here's the one thing about modern day storytelling. They really don't give you a lot to work with. Again, we don't know year. We just can get a time frame because based on how they're dressed and all that kind of stuff, but we know nothing. It doesn't say how much time has passed. It doesn't say anything. We just know that some time has passed. James, oh, where are you, boy? Blast your hide. And so, haha, she can't find us, and Dog is saying she probably in trouble. Maybe we should fess up. And James is like, you like her, and Dog is like, do not do so. Don't say that again. I'll bust your nose. La la la. I love woes. La 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 la. And then he sneezes. And then he falls in the water, and Dog yells out, James. And so, hang on. And you can see he jumps into the lake to get him, and he's trying to help him out. And he's like, quit struggling. He's like, help, I can't swim. And then he's like, And he's like, it's okay, I got ya. And so they take him home. Master John, I swear to heaven, I didn't know he was in the pond. I only turned my eyes for a minute. Oh, sir, if only I'd seen him run off. Hush, Rose, don't concern yourself. You're getting wetter than these 2 scallywags. And he says, don't worry about any ramifications, Logan. Let's just be relieved everyone's intact, shall we? Boys will be boys after all. Here, child, dry yourself up with this. And his dad is like, what? You're letting them go without punishment? In my day, the boy would have been flogged, as would his father. In my day. And then John says, this isn't your day, Papa. Thomas, I want you to take your boy home and take care of him, understood? He's like, oh, I will, sir. So, yeah, he is a mean one. So, and look, in the corner, I'm so sorry, Papa. I didn't mean nothing by it. And he says, let that be a lesson to you, boy. If I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. Our kind and their kind don't mix. Them people, they don't understand how it is down below. They live in their big fancy houses. We live in the dirt. You'll remember this one day, boy. You'll thank me, understand? He's like, yes, sir. You can see he's already been beaten up. Good boy. Here, this'll set you right. And he gives him uh, a bottle here. You can see he has a shiner. And so now more time has passed because it's winter. So is it a year? Has it been a year because there was snow in the beginning? So is this um and so Rose continues to write on her diary, how I feel for poor James. The child is so terribly ill all the time. I think his melancholy makes him worse. He misses his mother, who is so distant yet so close, but it's enough to catch a glimpse of her as she takes air on occasion up on her balcony. And here she is, right up here. James, what is it? And again, here's the mom. And I do like the silent panels per se, as the mom looks, as the girl looks, as Logan looks. So I do like that once in a while that they do this, but I do miss the some of the narration that perhaps say Chris Claremont. I do have an X-Men playlist would do where he sort of put everything on, and I don't mean to say that other writers need to put everything on, but at least put something. Let us know something. So all right. So we continue here. Come away now, James. Let's go back inside before you catch a germ. Do hurry, James. You remember what happened the last time. Woes, he must have a cold here instead of Rose. Look, it's dog. And he goes, huff, wait, dog, come back. And so he has a maze, probably with vines. And so you can see the dog went into the maze. And Christmas has been such a lovely season, dear diary. James received a special gift from his father, a sweet little puppy. I can't tell you how excited he was. Today it was Boxing Day. Master John was so funny about it and so kind. He served up honey punch dressed up in one of Mrs. Hopkins' aprons. How the servants laughed. What nonsense, John. Where's the decorum in acting like a fool in front of the servants? Papa, just for one day, I'm not going to allow you to spoil my fun. It's Boxing Day, and I rather like the tradition of serving the help for one afternoon. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and wish someone a Merry Christmas. And so off he goes, and there's Rose sitting there. Hello, Rose. Why so glum? He's like, oh, sir, and then she's sniffing here. I'm awfully sorry. It's just, I miss my Ma'am and Dad so much. Ma'am'd always make me a pretty new dress at Christmas. Yes, well, that's a shame now. I really must get back to the party. Oh my goodness gracious, that for oh. Oh, okay. Oh, he's getting her. I haven't read these in forever, so do apologize here. Well, look at what we have here. Does this belong to you, young lady? Here, a rose for a rose. And she's like, oh, sir, as he got her a present, too. Oh, Master John, I don't know what to say. Hush, child. Go on and thank Mrs. Hopkins. She's the one who told me about your Christmas dress. And so all of a sudden there's a bump crash. And then he says, sounds like the help getting into the punch again. Merry Christmas, Rose, as she cries. So, Master John, sir, the boy was spying in the window. Oh, for goodness sakes, Kenneth, let the boy go. He's done no harm. You're Logan's boy, aren't you? We haven't seen you around here much. I'm sorry, Master John, sir, honest. And look at John's father. Here James is busy with his new puppy. I doubt he'll miss one more toy. What do you say? Oh, thank you, sir. Merry Christmas, sir. Good boy. Now, off with you. And look at the dad. This is the final straw, John. Are you going to hand them the keys to the safe next? I won't stand for it. And John says, what do you mean you won't stand for it? This is my house, father. Yes, and built on the strength of my money. Your money. Ah, so it returns to you each time, and every time you find displeasure with me, does it? How dare you talk to your father that way, he says. And so there is Logan watching. Look at him up there, living like kings in a bloody castle. They think they're God Almighty. They do better than us. I hate 'em all, the bastards, especially Soft John. Thinks he's too good for someone like me, but he ain't. At least the old man knows his place. He knows how to treat a servant. So he does. Soft John doesn't even know how to treat his wife. So, steady, Logan. Get your bleeding hands off of me. I love the old-fashioned when someone is drunk with the word balloons here. They ain't like we were too bleeding good for us here. So, Papa, look what Master Howlett gave me as he comes through. And look at that. He's got a belt. And so, Rose is here crying. And John and his dad are fighting. And poor James is hugging his puppy. And so, what did I tell you, boy? What did I tell you? No, Papa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I swear. I'll make you sorry. You hear me? No, Papa. Ow, Papa, no. And breaks the poor thing. And you don't even get a the end. That's kind of the funny thing is you don't even get a the end. And here, Logan watches. So, I love the coloring. I really do. So, alright. So, Origin number 1 by Paul Jenkins, Andy Kubert, and Richard Isanov in these wonderful colors. So, like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.